esports is more than just gaming.
It's just a really good way to meet new people who are interested in the same thing as you.
It gives them a good sense of sportsmanship and teamwork.
The big goal with KenGarf Esports is to introduce these students to industry. We want to show them that they can take their interest and passion and turn it into future opportunity.
And it's open to everyone. Encourage students to sign up for KenGarf Esports today. To learn more about success in education and coding programs, visit SIEUtah.org.
Did you know that the average teenager spends nearly 7.5 hours on their phone every day? In that time, you could watch a 2-hour movie almost 5 times in a row, or ride a roller coaster at a theme park 45 times, or fly to Hawaii and swim for an hour. You can make the best use of those 7.5 hours by spending 5 minutes of your day on the Keys to Success app. Keys to Success is a mobile app and website that rewards you for exploring your future. See you soon!
Welcome in, everyone, to week 2 of the KenGarf Esports Fall Festival. I'm Vaudable. We got Blue blazing in at the booth for yet another week of action. We had a best of 7 last time. It was pretty entertaining, pretty competitive, but we'll see how things go down this time, Blue.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to be a spectacular. I believe we have Freedom High versus Canyon View 1. And I mean, jumping into this game, it's going to be exciting because of all, actually, I want to cut to a big point that we started this in October 6th, and these high schoolers, they've been traveling to different places, going throughout Utah, and I mean, it's incredible to see this young generation just go off like this.
It's been crazy to see what they've been able to do, but also to see what they've been able to do a part of this fall festival. Last Friday specifically was the first ever KenGarf Esports regional event at USU Eastern in Price, Utah. Nearly 100 students from 6 schools gathered to compete to learn about the USU Eastern campus. Special thanks to USU Eastern for hosting and making this happen. Tournament winners for that weekend's event was the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe winners, San Juan High School. SSBU, we saw Manti High School winning that one. And then for Rocket League, it was North Sevier High School as well. And we're excited to see the winning teams compete March 10th at the Huntsman Center as well.
That's exciting. Huntsman Center, full LAN experience. Whew, what a dream that would be. And speaking of March 10th, actually, did you know the spring celebration is open to everyone? I mean, whether you're an esports finalist. That's kind of crazy to me. But yeah, come with your esports club, bring your friends, bring your family, and cheer on the top 8 teams in each game. We'll have other opportunities for students to play, as well as competitions in the coding and cybersecurity world. Exclusive University of Utah behind the scenes tours as well. And let's get a drum roll, please. This is some exciting news. Doug Bowser, the president of Nintendo America, will be your keynote speaker. So make sure to mark your calendars, reserve those buses, and plan on being there. You won't want to miss that at all.
It's going to be crazy. I mean, having Doug Bowser being the keynote speaker, he's local to the area apparently and an alumni, so great to see that he's able to be there. The president of Nintendo America is just, his name was made perfect for being a president of Nintendo in any capacity, I feel like, Blue.
No, absolutely. I remember when Reggie, the former president, stepped down and retired. I saw the news headline, Bowser's now taking over. And I'm like, the Nintendo character?
Oh, but we need to take us over to the format specifically for the entire fall festival itself. 6 weeks long of Swiss play through October 3rd to November 18th. So plenty of matches for these teams to compete in 3 divisions. First Division 5A to 6A high schools, Division 2, 1A to 4A high schools, and Division 3 middle/junior high schools as well. So a lot of great competition. How many teams, Blue, do we have specifically competing throughout these weeks of competition?
Ooh, I believe at the moment we have 22 schools competing in these weeks. So definitely a large margin in the state of Utah right now.
It's great. We have Rocket League, we have Mario Kart 8, we have Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, as we were talking about before, for that first regional event. And we'll be talking about some more of those regional events. Apparently, there's another one happening quite soon, so you definitely want to tune in to the rest of this broadcast for this. But let's talk about our best of 7 matchup. It's a little bit underway. They got started. They were ready. They were excited to play some of their games, and we understand that. So the first 2 games, they're gone already. We'll get the updates on exactly how that is going down. I believe, as I say that, we have gotten some updates on the teams themselves. Freedom versus Canyon View. What can you really tell me about the amazing names that we're expected to see on these rosters, Blue?
Well, personally, I don't know much about these players, but I can tell you they got some pretty nice names. I mean, Matty Mayo, 18, sub to Shadow Boy. Ooh, you got the self-promo there. I like it. And Tony Stark, 3930 on Freedom High. And for Canyon View, we have STW Apollo 13, Junior Bayret, and CMWJ. So definitely some exclusive and nice names to look at. But speaking of exclusive footage, now we got Shadow starting it off strong for Freedom High.
Well, there we go. We have our update. Canyon View currently up 2-0 in this best of 7 series. But Freedom High, starting off the bat, 30 seconds into this one, already getting that first goal. They were hungry for this, trying to see exactly how things are going, but it looks like a player isn't going for it. Maybe they just were disconnected or distracted on their phones like we had from the ad earlier.
Oh yeah, it was kind of crazy, 7.5 hours, but hey, that's not as many hours as these Rocket League players are putting in. Apollo putting it in the back of the net already off that unfortunate bump, but there we go, 1-1.
You could tell Canyon View won, since we'll just say Canyon View versus Freedom High at this point, but you can tell which schools and which actual rosters there are. Some of these schools have multiple teams that are competing. That's why the one last time we had Pleasant Grove 2. So that's just the way things are going to be going through these weeks of competition. But the first 2 games being taken by Canyon View and how quickly they were able to bounce back, Blue, leads me to believe that they're likely the stronger team as far as maybe ranks and chemistry up to this point, just being a preview to what we can expect for this series.
No, absolutely, I agree with that. 2-0 already in it, getting that game 1 and game 2 win against Freedom High should tell you something that Canyon View has some type of charisma and have some type of chemistry together to bring that 2-0 lead, and they're just getting the better of Freedom High. But as it is right now, it is tied. Maybe Freedom High has caught themselves in the coattails and trying to bringing themselves back here. But let's see if they can, as Apollo gets a nice clear out to CMWJ and it's back into the orange half.
Apollo's definitely the one we're going to be looking out for on Canyon View, but this time it's not going to be, well, I guess it is Apollo getting the goal. It was just assisted by the defense, unfortunately, Blue.
It is unfortunate, but the rotations get the better of you, and it looks like that Tony Stark put it in the back of the net, but let's see if Freedom High can bring this back.
You just got to unite the Avengers, call them to the scene, and then they'll take down the opposing side of the field. Maybe that's how they win their end game and take out their opponents, get the victory here at the end of the day. But they first need to get out of their box, because it's been a struggle for Freedom High to find their footing so far.
Oh no, I mean, we're looking at it here. Matty Meow trying to get that out, but this is pretty great pressure from Canyon View. They're blocking out of all angles. Freedom High just a little bit off in the rotation as well. So Apollo just kind of dribble this up along the wall here. Could look for the shot, but not quite on target. And almost half the game already over. Canyon View looking pretty strong here, just keeping this ball on the orange half.
All the action that we've had so far, Blue, I thought we'd at least have just a minute left of this third game, but really it's been so high flying back and forth between both these teams, and Canyon View with Apollo leading the charge, trying to do his best to make sure there's no way they can be stopped, and that's exactly what we see happen here with the hat trick from him.
Whew, Apollo, what a shot performance for him. I mean, playing it up pretty strongly, and just the awkward rotation, as I mentioned before, getting the better of Freedom High, and looking like Canyon View is looking like the better team. We talked about just previously, and this chemistry from Canyon View, specifically on just their momentum and keeping this ball against Freedom High, is just so strong. And I mean, it just comes to the better of NC.
Oh.
wait, Apollo.
How is Apollo getting that still? Looking back at the replay for this one, a great aerial maneuver from him, and it was difficult for the defense to try and save it, but it looked like it was just going to go in without even a single defender touching that one, but Matty got a piece of the pie, just not enough of it. It was ripped away from him right before his very eyes as another goal went into the back of the net, and Apollo, they're just master criminal at this point in time. They have the entire plan laid out, and nobody can stop them.
No, absolutely not. Apollo just doing all the work. He's honestly Apollo on the field right now, just super speedy, but we're looking at it here. Let's see if that 2 minutes remaining could have something for that 3 goals for Freedom High, but looks unlikely. Apollo almost going for the shot, but not quite on target. And whew, this this is just Canyon Views just putting on a show right now. They're playing the better of Freedom High, playing it around those defenders. Let's see if they can bring something out of it. But here we go, the shot coming from Shadow, but not on target.
So close. But we did see someone other than Apollo on defense doing their best. That was CMWJ. But speaking of Apollo, say his name, he appears. And that's exactly what we saw happen here. Came out on top. CMWJ wanted that goal. So maybe Apollo, you got to spread the love. You got to share the great goals that are happening with your teammates. So it's not just Apollo every day being the MVP, obviously, of this game. 5-1. This kind of performance, this might be a very short record from what we have seen so far. It looked really close the last series that we had. The way this is going, and based on this, you could probably think that the last two games were very similar, Blue.
No, absolutely. I really want to see the scores, and maybe Freedom High didn't get a goal at all, but I mean, we're looking at it now. Canyon View are just putting on a show, and they possibly have that same exact record. But moving down to like the last minute, Freedom High really needs to just change something. Maybe look at their previous games for a second and just figure out how to get through this Canyon View offense at this point. It's not even their defense, but just their offense in general has been threatening.
Well, there's something else that we could talk about. We talked about the first ever really regional event for this fall festival that happened at USU. Well, there is another one happening tomorrow at Weaver State University. Second regional event there. There will be 17 schools and over 200 students in attendance, for that one. So good luck to all the teams who are playing in that tomorrow. It's just crazy to me. At first time we had like 6 schools, 100 students. I'm like, okay, that's pretty crazy. 17 schools and 200 students for this next one.
It's honestly beautiful to see, because esports is such a new concept still to this day, and we're looking at high schools and different educations, and a lot of universities bring out their best. And you know, speaking of the best at the moment, 3-0 going towards Canyon View. Wow, it's a strong record.
That is a strong record, and Shadow Boy, I mean, they're earning that sub from me at this point in time. We got to see a little bit more, maybe to get other people involved and get them to sub to them as well. Definitely got to support the youths that are out there in their endeavors. But it's crazy to see the way that Apollo is just being everything. He is getting the triple-double of Rocket League, doing defense, doing offense, getting he doesn't even need assists because he's the only one getting the goals on the team for Canyon View. So for Freedom High, what do they really need to do here, Blue?
Honestly, Freedom High just needs to get that ball out of those corners, get those balls out of the awkward spots around their net, and just kind of rotate a little bit better is from what I'm looking at. And honestly, just banging the ball out towards the blue half as much time as possible that they can get on that blue half, it'll be the better for them. So let's see if they can bring that result out. But Beast is going to not allow that and gets the first goal for Canyon View.
So one thing to note that we saw happen in the previous game that we kind of see happen here is the rotations. Maddie was waiting for his teammates to maybe get in position for that, but would have been a better option for him to challenge, leave his teammates to rotate back to cover him. That way someone's on the ball, doesn't leave it wide open like that, somehow almost winning off the kickoff. It's not going to be that easy. Goes off the backboard instead.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at it here. The aerials from Canyon View are just so much more substantial right now than Freedom High. It looks like they've been in that training and free play a little bit longer than Freedom High, and they are just getting the better of them in the air. But Freedom High really needs to bring something out. Once again, CMWJ with a beautiful flick, but a save from Shadow Boy. There's their rotation coming in.
Exactly what we needed to see, but now we see all three of them going for the attack, and you need to call out to your teammates, know exactly, okay, you go first, I'll stay on defense. We have a three-pronged approach. Instead, it was just kind of throwing the frying pan at them and hoping that something sticks, and unfortunately they missed, and that's exactly what happened there as the ball went right behind them.
I guess the frying pan couldn't catch the flying egg in the air, and it looks like I got better. Oh my goodness, another time CMWMJ. No, what a save coming in from Shadow Boy once again. Shadow Boy getting some saves on the board now. This could be the turning factor for Freedom High. It's back to the orange half. If they can get it on target, it could be it. Shadow Boy off the touch, but no, it's not in. Wow.
So close. So close there. Shadow Boy doing the best that he can for his team. Tony Stark, I like the initiative on offense, going for some of these challenges here and there. A good pass that was to the center of the field, but gave it up too quickly to Apollo. Backflip coming out, so it makes it a bit easier for them to deal with their opponents. But as I say that, rotation, rotation, rotation. That is the one thing Freedom High need to work on for their next series, because right now, with the way things are going, it's going to be a tough uphill battle to come back 3 goals.
Yeah, 3 goals, especially against an opponent like Apollo and the rest of Canyon View. That's going to be a tough challenge to climb. But you know, looking at them, they have that opportunity. They're bringing themselves back into that blue half just a little bit more than game 1 or game 3 at least. So I mean, hopefully we can see them triumph once again. I mean, looking at right here, they're on that blue half. They just need to get that ball in the net. But Beast, Apollo, they're just taking it back onto that place, and CMWJ getting it over too. But Shadow Boy, once again, the savior on this orange half, is getting it away.
Ooh, so close from Apollo there. Just could not find the angle that they were vying for. But now we have 2 players. Shadow Boy coming with the entire team trying to attack this ball. Apollo, that would have been a nice read if they could have connected with it. Luckily for the defense, nothing really on target just yet. Jim is Beast trying to see where they can go and get involved, and if they didn't push up too quickly, they might have been able to sink that one in the back of the net. But nonetheless, halftime already gone. Tony Stark, got to work with your teammates, because we almost saw a double commit on that challenge, which could have been a goal.
Oh yeah, that could have been a goal. A little bit of awkwardness coming from Canyon View, though. This could be something for Freedom High to capitalize on, but looks like they just didn't go for it. And Beast is just looking for that 50-50, gets it on Shadow Boy. See? Oh my goodness, CMWJ! That's just an open net.
There we go. They were waiting for it. It happened a couple of times, and Jim is Beast with some great forethought to just challenge, keep the momentum moving forward, cover the options, because Maddie could have gone for that ball, but he was body blocking him, so there's no chance, no angle for anyone to get a touch on that defensively. Apollo, I guess just, let them have it for a second, but it worked out. It was a mind game. It wasn't even a fake kickoff. It wasn't a kickoff at all.
They knew that double commit was coming, and CMWJ took that off that bar there. And 5-0 Canyon View. We said 3-0 would be difficult. Well, 5-0, gonna be a little more.
It is indeed, but that's where you got to start mixing things up, pull out different strategies. Shadow Boy got the first goal for his team, at least on stream in the previous game, 30 seconds in, so maybe they'll be the one to score here. Just waiting for their time to strike, but Jim is Beast not giving them a moment's notice as he takes it away and crushes their hopes on offense.
My goodness. And speaking of the Ken and Garf Esports Fall Festival, there's a really cool thing right now going on in Rocket League, the Haunted Hollows. That's true. That's kind of fun, actually. I've been seeing so many Halloween events throughout Rocket League for the past few years, but the Haunted Hollows looks pretty fun in my opinion.
Does look like a fun time, and I'm sure a lot of these players are going to enjoy that after this match, but they got to get a minute and 20 seconds, gone before they can get to that point. And I think we'll get there pretty soon. Canyon View, they are content to stay at where they are currently lead-wise, but maybe we'll see a high-score affair. We saw some pretty high-scoring games in the previous week of competition, Blues, so you think anyone can beat that on Canyon View here?
Wow. I mean, looking at game differential, Canyon View is definitely on top with that 4 and, at the moment 3-0 series. So I honestly don't know. Maybe Pleasant Grove. You've seen Pleasant Grove versus Farmington 2, and Pleasant Grove did an amazing job. They succeeding and winning. And I mean, looking at the stats here, Canyon View, I feel like they're gonna be on top for a little bit.
Yeah, this is the biggest lead that we have seen so far to date. We only have a pool of 2 series to really pull from, but it's still a great lead at that. And to remind those that are out there, these teams, the top team from each of the divisions will move on to play in the eSport Finals at the Spring Celebration. So you want to do the best that you can. The best way to get on top of kind of a Swiss stage format is to make sure you get all the game wins and don't take a single loss. We're seeing that here from Canyon View, so maybe they could be a front runner. We'll get some updates as the weeks go on. As I said before, 6 weeks long of play will be happening for all of these teams. So we're only in week 2. We'll see exactly how the rest of it goes, but this one's going pretty well for Canyon View.
Oh yeah, looks like it's gonna be a wrap here in Canyon View, taking it 6-0 against Freedom High. Maybe getting a goal last second, keeping the ball up. Rule 2, maybe there. Apollo putting it back on the corner. but Shadow Boy unfortunately gets it down, and looks like your winners of this series is Canyon View 1, 4-0.
What a way to do it, too. We joined in kind of halfway through this series, and we're like, okay, maybe it's going to be 1-1. Maybe a team will be dominating the other ones. It's typically what happens in kind of high school level competitions. There's either really good players or like really decent players, and they got to figure out the chemistry. That's the biggest thing, too, because these players on the other team, if they can figure out their rotations, we saw a couple of moments where the Canyon View school could have led to a goal being scored against them. It just comes down to those minute details that you could just work on in free play, practice on casual, and see exactly how you can work together like that. And I'm sure the lovely people there at the esports facilities for these high schools can help lead the charge for them as well, Blue.
No, absolutely. It's honestly a spectacular thing that these high schools are doing, allowing their students to play, in different esports facilities or different areas, to garner that experience of having fun while, learning and educating themselves, and, touring at the USU Eastern campus and getting those tours, which is quite nice. And, speaking of that Weber State University thing we're talking about tomorrow, there's also another land next Friday at the Utah Valley University, hosting 15 schools and also 200 students.
This is crazy. So many students.
Oh my. These events are great opportunities for students to see these college campuses as well and interact with their esports teams. So definitely quite a journey there.
Yeah, and let me remind you once again for those students that are competing in the Ken Garff Esports Fall Festival tomorrow at Weber State University, the second regional event for this season itself. 72 schools, 200 students, as we were mentioning. So definitely good luck to the people that are playing in that. Smash Bros, Mario Kart, Rocket League. It's going to be a great time. But we had a great time here. It was short and sweet. But that's okay. That's the way things go sometimes. So we'll see you next go around for another week of action for the Ken Garff Esports Fall Festival.
Esports is more than just gaming.
It's just a really good way to meet new people who are interested in the same thing as you.
It gives them a good sense of sportsmanship and teamwork.
The big goal with Ken Garff Esports is to introduce these students to industry. We want to show them that they can take their interest and passion and turn it into future opportunity.
And it's open to everyone. Encourage students to sign up for Ken Garff Esports today. To learn more about success in education and coding programs, visit SIEUtah.org.
Did you know that the average teenager spends nearly 7.5 hours on their phone every day? In that time, you could watch a 2-hour movie almost 5 times in a row, or ride a roller coaster at a theme park 45 times, or fly to Hawaii and swim for an hour. You can make the best use of those 7.5 hours by spending 5 minutes of your day on the Keys to Success app. Keys to Success is a mobile app and website that rewards you for exploring your future. See you soon!